Okay, I want to welcome you to the October 20th Agenda Planning Meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. I will ask those management that's in attendance if you would please silence your phones. This meeting is being recorded for the accuracy of the proceedings. The agenda planning meeting is to set the final agenda for next week's board meeting. There will be no votes on the suggested agenda items at this meeting. Or voting and approval of agenda items will only occur at next week's board meeting. I'm now going to ask the board members and the general manager to introduce themselves. And today I will start with Irene D'Alicio.
Irene D'Alicio, Director.
Don Hicks, Director.
Frank Gould, Treasurer.
Roger Beagle, President.
Hank Under, Secretary.
Mike Jensen, Director.
Steve Nolan, General Manager. Great, thank you. You'll notice that we wish Gay Zawadzki, that is on a vacation, a very pleasant stay and a safe trip home. So since this meeting has no audience except for necessary management and one committee member, I will try and explain the agenda items as we proceed. Before I do this, I'd like to send a special hello and get well out to Patty and Jerry Johnston. They are not with us. Patty is not with us today. They were both at home recovering from a COVID contracted and a vacation. All of the board members wish you the best to get well and a speedy, happy recovery and come back to us soon. I would also like to recognize and thank the management that are in attendance today. Your help and support to make this community run smoothly and continue to be a desirable community for active adults is greatly appreciated by the Board of Directors. As I go through the agenda today, board members will be asked if they need additional information, have any questions, or need clarifications of the agenda items. I will then ask if this is to remain on the agenda for next week's board meeting. Okay. First of all, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Hank, will we have someone to lead us in the pledge?
Yes, we will.
I will leave on the agenda to approve the September 30th board meeting minutes. I will leave on the agenda the President's message. I will also leave on the agenda the Employee of the Month. Treasurer's report, Frank Gould, will we have a report?
Yes, we will.
Down to committee reports. The Architectural Compliance Committee, Bud Jensen, will there be a report?
Yes, I will have a report.
All the committee meetings have been canceled until at least January 1st, 2021. So there will be no other committee reports. We're down to project reports. Cottonwood Bar and Grill renovation, Don Hicks. Do you have a report?
We will, Mr. President, but I'd like to take a minute and have Marshall speak to us. He's got some good news for them.
Okay.
Yeah, so very excited. Today we had our county final inspection, and we did pass that inspection, so that is fantastic. We are waiting on one more final inspection from Maricopa County Health Department, and we'll have that on Monday. But excited that that one was passed. And also to anyone at home watching and to the board as I sent out and invited, just a reminder, we will be doing a walkthrough so everyone can see the new facility on November the 1st from 11 until 2. So we'll limit the space to 50 people at a time, but yep, so some exciting news there. So
And we are open on November 2nd.
Yep, correct. Open the following week, yep, November 2nd. So, yep.
Very good, Marshall, thank you. And I'll ask you to repeat that next week. Okay. Palo Verde restroom renovation, Steve Nolan, will we have a report?
Yes, I will full report.
And your management report?
Yes, I will also have a full report.
I will leave on director's comments. We are now down to capital reserve replacement fund request. First one that comes up is your tab 2. Management recommends replacing the existing 75 horsepower pump motor for the Rainbird irrigation pump station and install a new 75 horsepower premium efficient pump motor. This includes a repack also of pump number 3. Included in here is a crane services and labor. This repair was needed due to upcoming overseeding, and the loss of this pump would have been catastrophic to the golf courses. Management recommends a sole source bid from Independent Pump and Service of Arizona for a total of $9,361. The warranty comes from the manufacturer of the pump. Board, are there any questions, comments, or clarifications needed on this item?
I have one question, Mr. President.
Don, go ahead.
The information indicates that the existing motor is shorted. Is that correct?
Steve, do you?
Shorted out.
I believe so. I'm not sure the extent of the damage, but it was not running. It was already kind of replaced.
Is there any thought of having that motor rebuilt and stored as a spare unit that can drop right in if we lose a 75
I'll
horsepower?
talk to Scott about that. I don't know if he's planned on doing it, but I'll find out.
Okay, we'll have a report on that
Yeah,
next week at the board meeting.
good. This would be an ideal time to get a spare for less than a new motor.
If it can be rebuilt. Yeah, and just point of clarification for the board members, this is on between poles number 4 and 5 on Cottonwood, and it is a pump station out there amongst the oleanders. So this has been made. This is a repair prior to what we see. So we'll just need to repair it. So we'll leave this on the agenda.
Yes,
Next up is tab number 3. Management recommends replacing a 4-ton HVAC unit, number 12, at the Cottonwood Lounge. The unit is no longer functional and was due for replacement in 2015. 3 bids were received, one from Alpine Air for $7,100, American Cooling and Heating for $7,435, and one from Bumblebee Air for $9,000. Management recommends a low bid from Alpine Air for a total of $7,100. Board member, are there any questions, comments, or clarifications needed? Shall I leave this item on the agenda?
yes.
Next up, almost about the same thing, isn't it, Marshall? Management wants to replace a 4-ton HVAC unit number 13 located at the Cottonwood Lounge. Again, the unit is no longer functional and was due for replacement in 2017. The same 3, this would be bids were received from Alpine Air for $7,100, American Cooling and Heating for $7,455, Bumblebee Air for $9,000. Management recommends the low bid from Alpine Air for a total of $7,100. Board members, are there any questions, comments, or clarifications needed?
I have one question, Mr. President.
No problem.
Are there any useful parts off of those, Guthrie, or should we dispose of them and get them off the property?
I'm Rusty Raines, I'm Assistant Facilities Manager. There might be a couple of parts that we can pull off of it, but it's actually, for what they cost, it's just easier just to go ahead and get rid of them.
So we plan on disposing of them.
Absolutely, yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
That comment come from Rusty Raines, and he's Assistant Manager for Facilities. There is no real usable parts on the equipment that can be reused. Am I correct in what
That
you
is
said,
correct.
Rusty?
That is correct.
Mr. President, I have a question.
Gordon?
I'm just curious, do we maintain the units ourselves once they're installed?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great.
Yes, we do.
I only asked that because I know it's almost $375 more, but that's the 2 years of labor, and I just thought if we didn't install it, then it might be a good investment, because $275 doesn't take long to get that together.
Yeah, we do. We usually have an HVAC tech on staff. We're currently looking for one. But yeah, we do maintain the units throughout the year. And the reason why that one's slightly more, one is a gas pack, the other one's.
I thought we did, but I wasn't sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hank. And just to clear up for those that are at home, yearly, our maintenance facilities always goes through and all of our air conditioners around the community in every building. And does it make tune-up, service, that sort of stuff. So, okay, should this item be left on the agenda?
Yes,
Yes.
Next up is tab number 5. Management recommends repairing the Cottonwood kitchen cooler number 3 by replacing a leaky evaporative cooler and adding refrigerant. Management recommends a sole source bid from Fair Refrigeration for a total price of $3,774. Fair Refrigeration is a preferred vendor for all our refrigeration repairs at Cottonwood and Palo Verde restaurants. Board members, are there any comments, questions, or clarifications needed? Shall I leave this on the agenda?
yes,
We are at PD Gate Fund, there is none. On Capital Improvement Fund, there is none. Voluntary Contribution Fund, there is none. Cottonwood Bar and Grill renovation, there is none. Palo Verde restroom renovation, there is none. And under old business, there is none. Now we're at new business. This is your tab number 6. This is approve the changes to the policy chapter 4-16, Cottonwood Palo Verde HOA Carry Forward Fund. Board members, are there any comments, questions, or clarifications in this? Hearing none, should I leave this on the agenda?
Yes.
yes,
Next up is the tab number 7. This is to approve the 2021 proposed architectural compliance committee members. Board members, are there any comments, questions, or clarifications?
I have a comment, Mr. President.
No problem, Don.
There's one person on the list that has been recommended for an extension, 1-year extension. I'm not in favor of that and can't support it. In 2018, we had 14 exceptions in our 9 committees, 14. One committee of 7 actually, interviewed 5 qualified candidates and not a one were chosen. They had 3 exceptions that year. The board president at that time assigned a 3-person committee to study that and make recommendations. 2 of those task force of time and a lot of effort on researching that. And this is the package. We spent several months researching it and coming up with language that we thought would be fair to everyone. Once we did, we brought it to the board as a recommendation. The board approved it in December 2018. The board decided, and we all agreed, that 2019 would be a year of grace. That we would not hold all the committees to absolutely no exemptions. Last year we had one exemption, and that was the second one-year exemption. So that committee member actually spent 6 years on the committee instead of 4. In our researching, we found one committee member that was on a committee for over 10 years. And obviously, when we grant exceptions, that blocks a position for new committee members. I feel strongly that we shouldn't block positions for new members on committee. I believe strongly that we need new blood on committees. And when I talked about the 5 that were interviewed for a committee and not one of them were chosen, some of the board members got an earful from those 5 people that were interviewed and none were chosen, and it's not fair. So for that reason, I can't support the one-year extension. The revised charter has room for an extension. And in my view, that extension was really put in there for a board or a committee member that was involved in a project that was maybe halfway done. And it wouldn't be fair to jerk that committee member and put a new person in the middle of an existing project. So that was the main reason for even granting an extension in the revised board policy. That's really about all I have to say about it. It's just, in my mind, it's not fair to be blocking positions. And that's what we're doing every time we approve an extension.
Okay, I will back up that comment. And I say that I remember us saying, when we revised that board policy, that 2019 would be the last year that we looked at exceptions. So, with that, Bud, do you have anything that you would like to say?
Mr. President, you said that 2019 would be your last year, but you have in there that you can have an extension if it's necessary. And we had 5 members. We took 1 new member and we took 1 old, at least came back after a year off.
Correct.
And the other 3 were not qualified.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm asking for an extension for Liz, because her area is big and she's an exceptional worker.
Okay.
And you say that we need something for someone to be working on projects. Well, she's working on all of her projects. And now we took Elise, we put her in number 20, and that was Bobby. Well, Bobby turned her book in and retired. She just quit.
That'll be a lot of catching.
And I see Janet did the same thing with David. David the last time I saw the consent agenda, Janet took that unit over too. So David will be done this year too, and Bobby's done, she just retired. She lost her husband, but she did. That's why I asked for an extension for Liz. It's very important to the community at this point. And she'll get 1 year extension and she can't have another one.
Now, have you read the board policy on qualifications?
Pardon?
Have you read the board policy, BB 1001, on qualifications?
Okay,
Have you read it?
yeah.
What does it say?
Well, it says I can have an extension.
No, what I was talking about qualifications.
Oh, I don't know, what does it say if you want me to read that, Don? I was reading F.
You should have read it, because you talked about interviewing 3 people that weren't qualified. How do you know they're not qualified if you don't know what qualified is?
Because they interviewed him. And the committee
Let
came,
me read you qualification of members.
the committee came,
Let me read you qualification of members. Committee members shall be Cottonwood Palo Verde property owners and shall be members in good standing of the association throughout the terms of their appointments. The ASM shall certify the eligibility of all applicants. The resident spouse whose name does not appear on the property deed and residence whose property is held in trust shall also qualify to become committee members. So qualifications
yeah, if you notice it,
says very clearly that you have to be a resident. That's all it says.
okay.
So when you talk about people not being qualified,
Well, this new,
I don't understand what you're getting at.
this new policy that Jay is writing, it says if these people, if you feel they're not qualified, you do not have to even interview.
That's a new policy that has not been brought to
It's
the
not in
board
effect yet.
or approved.
I know it.
So don't talk about something that's not approved. That's pie in the sky.
But anyway,
This is what
the
is
committee
approved.
came up with the idea that they should not be on the committee. And so we asked for an extension for that.
Well,
We interviewed them all.
Let's kind of bring this to a head, because this is the agenda planning meeting. Board members, are there any other comments? We've heard from both sides. Are there any comments or questions that you need clarification? This will not be voted on until next week. Hearing none, should I leave this on?
yes,
Under first readings, this is your tab number 8. To approve a reciprocal agreement between Cottonwood Palo Verde and Iron Oaks Communities. Board members, are there any questions, clarifications, or additional comments? Shall I leave this on the agenda?
yes,
Next, under first readings is tab number 9. This is to approve changes to board policy chapter 7-60. Has to do with pickleball court regulations. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications? Shall I leave this on the agenda?
yes,
Next, under first reading, will be approved changes to board policy chapter 8-02A, facilities use and other amenities. Any questions or comments or clarifications from board members? Shall this be left on the agenda?
yes.
For all those that are watching at home, these 3 items that are in first reading will be voted on next week, and will not be voted on next week. What it means is they are going into the first reading. You have a chance as a homeowner to read what we're approving and make comments. That concludes, we're down to closing comments. Board members, do you have any additional comments that you'd like to make? We want to thank those of you today that were watching at home and live stream. We wish all our homeowners to remember to wear your mask and maintain social distancing and at all times in the public and while using the community amenities. Please be safe, stay healthy. Tune in next week for the board meeting, October 28th at 3 p.m., which will be followed at 4 p.m. with the budget meeting, the annual budget meeting. Thanks to all that attended. This meeting is adjourned.
Got it.